Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me on a cold, snowy Brando's adventure. I've been gone for a while, but I'm back and ready to do another video. And today's a special kind of a video, something I've never done before. It is a famous grave tour. Going to be jumping around parts of Indiana and into Kentucky, talking about different famous graves. Some you may know, some people you may not know. But you'll probably learn something by the end of this video. But we start the video off here at the grave here in Cedar Hill Cemetery of Mr. James Bess. Mr. James Bess was, of course, an actor of many, many movies, many westerns and stuff like that. But he'll always be known as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane on the Dukes of Hazzard. And he was also a World War II veteran. Served in the United States Army. He starred in hundreds of westerns like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, stuff like that. He's also made a couple appearances on the Andy Griffith Show, as well as all kinds of other movies. But he grew up right here in Corden, Indiana. Was an orphan after his parents died, or after his mom died, and his dad left when he was a young age. And he was adopted by a family. There's his adoptive parents laid to rest right next to him. Well, the snow has subsided a little bit, as you could see, but still it's extremely cold out here. And on a day like this, you just kind of want to stay home and watch your Netflix and eat a bowl of popcorn. And speaking of popcorn, are you familiar with Wilfred Sieg? Well, by that name, no. You're going to be like, who in the world is that and what's he got to do with popcorn? Well, if I mention the name Cousin Willy's Popcorn, then that might ring a bell. And here is the final resting place of the owner of Cousin Willy's Popcorn, Mr. Wilfred Sieg, otherwise known as Cousin Willy, as in Cousin Willy's Popcorn. He was from this area and is laid to rest here at St. Bernard Catholic Cemetery here in Ramsey, Indiana. And that's about 15 minutes away from Corden. Well, I can't really say Ramsey. He's not really in Ramsey, but he's close to Ramsey enough. You understand what I'm saying. But he's famous for his popcorn all over the United States. You can go to Walmart or just about anywhere and find a box of his popcorn with his face on there. Now we're in Orange County, Indiana, and we're talking about one of the more strangest stops I'm going to be making on this video, and that is the final resting place of Mr. Floyd Pruitt. Born 1894, died in 1920. Now, what's so strange about this guy? Well, if you are a paranormal enthusiast and stuff, you have probably heard about this man. Sometime around 1920, he took and supposedly killed his wife with a logging chain. He was a logger and supposedly killed his wife with a chain. Well, with her dying breath, what gets more interesting, it gets weirder as you go along. With her dying breath, she cursed Mr. Pruitt that he would die by a chain. And a few days later, supposedly he was working and a chain snapped off of a log, came through, snapped his neck. That's what I've heard. That's the story about it. But what gets weirder still is his monument. You know, it's a basic monument, pretty basic looking, small, nothing fancy. Well, let me show you what's on the side of this monument that will kind of creep you out. For some weird reason, there is what appears to be a chain. Getting here a little closer, there is a chain that comes along through here and forms a cross. Now, legend has it that each time you visit, the chain will either get bigger or smaller. Some people say, continuing on with this legend, some people say that if you touch the chain that is on the side of this monument, you will die by a chain that same day. So, being as superstitious as I am, I'm not going to touch the chain that's on the side of the monument. I'm not going to take that chance. But I come here once before in the summer, about midsummer. I come out through here, check this place out. I took a picture of the side of this monument, and I said I'm going to come back a little while later and check it out again. Well, I was doing a side-by-side comparison, and the chain doesn't seem to have changed any at all. It all appears to be the same length, both now and several months ago when I came out here. Now, skeptics say that the chain got there because when they pulled the stone out of the quarry, they tied it down with a rusty old chain. But honestly, I think if you was to tie it down with a rusty old chain in 1920, that would have disappeared by now, don't you think? It still wouldn't have that shadow outline of a chain across it. And then another skeptic says that somebody said that they had known Mr. Pruitt and that he died of tuberculosis. Not in a freak accident with a chain, but died of tuberculosis. So whether the whole story about the chain is true or not, who knows? I can't ask anybody that set the monument up if it was like that, if they had used a chain, because they're all gone by now. Our next visit takes a more darker turn as we respectively visit the final resting places of Kimberly and her two children, Bradley and Jill Cam. On September of 2000, Kim, along with her two children, were found shot dead in their garage of their Georgetown, Indiana home. Originally, her husband, David Cam, an Indiana state trooper at the time, was arrested and convicted of the murders. But after 13 years in jail and multiple appeals, David was found not guilty. And then the focus became on another man by the name of Charles Bonet. And he was convicted and is serving a life imprisonment for the murders. But still to this day, Charles Bonet says that David Cam is the murderer. So if you've been watching my videos, you've seen my last video I did was at Holiday World in Splash and Safari. Well, I want to come out here to Locust Hill Cemetery and pay tribute to the founder of Holiday World and Splash and Safari, Mr. Lewis J. Cook. Mr. Cook opened Holiday World. Actually, it wasn't Splash and Safari back then. It was just, actually it started off as Santa Claus Land. And then a few years later, a little while later, they changed the name to Holiday World, adding the Halloween Town and 4th of July areas on there. But Mr. Cook is the one, Mr. Lewis Cook is the one who started it all. Started it with an idea, with a dream, and it just went on from there. Opened in the 1940s. So, if you like Holiday World, you have Mr. Lewis Cook to thank for that. And he's buried here in Locust Hill Cemetery. You come out here to section 21 and you'll find it right along the edge of the road right here. So on our final stop of this part 1 of part 2 series, we come out here to Santa Claus, Indiana, to Santa Claus Cemetery. And no, this is not where Santa Claus is buried at, but it is where somebody else is well known is buried at, and we're going to show you right here. Here's the final resting place of former owner of Holiday World, Mr. Will Cook. Will Cook is the grandson of the founder, Lewis J. Cook, and is laid to rest here after he was found unconscious in his pool and sadly passed away. The family believes he passed away of complications of diabetes. But Will took over the company at 25 years old, and under his watch he added in the first coasters of the park, the Voyage, as you see engraved on his stone right there, the Legend, and the Raven. He also, in 1993, started Splash and Safari, the water park. And he also is responsible for the free unlimited soft drinks. So beat that, Disney. But Will had huge success as owner of Holiday World, doing not just having all those, but constantly winning awards for the cleanest and safest park, and all kinds of other awards such as that. So that's going to do it for me on this part 1 of part 2 Famous Graves tour videos. And stick around for part 2 coming up very soon. Can't wait to show you that one, because there'll be more parts down in Kentucky. And then we'll go up northern Indiana and check out a few things. There'll be more celebrities in the part 2 one, so you want to stick around for that. So until next time, guys, see ya.